Mel to share a little bit of just her wisdom and her energy. She has a lot of energy, you guys. And Mel, you can share a little bit more about this background because I don't know if I'll catch all of it, but I actually didn't realize that she used to be a Mokihana counselor for youth. And she has this really interesting mix where she's been an artist, entrepreneur, creative. She's done like women's beauty products and sales, youth counseling. So she's this incredible, dynamic woman that has taken all the things she loves and is doing coaching, which it's like it makes so much sense when you talk about it, Mel. But I love like the uniqueness of all the pieces. So Mel, thank you so much for being here. Go ahead and take it away. I'm excited just to hear what you have to share with us.
Thank you so much for having me on. I can't believe, like the last couple of years, I think for most of us are kind of a blur. Um, I think that we've been through so many changes. We've been through so many unknowns, and just kind of figuring out like work, school, how to access services, figuring out what mandates and regulations are in place or not. I mean, because that changes all the time, and the present only promises like a constant evolution of what's normal. So we are growing and adapting every day as we go. And here we are, though. Another year has gone by. We're in the last quarter of 2021. There's like 107 days, I think, till Christmas, and 114 days till the new year. And for me, I thought about that. I was like, super excited because I love the holidays. I love Halloween. Holidays just bring a lot of joy, but then it was quickly replaced with like a little bit of anxiety and overwhelm. I was like, first thought was like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time. And so I thought about like the holidays, preparing for them, shopping for them, keeping the kids healthy, especially during the holidays, and getting them to their activities as, things allow, and holding down the fort, running business. And I just shut down. I was just like, you know what? Can't do it. Don't think about it. But moved on with the day with a little bit of underlying overwhelm and anxiety. So, later when things settled down, kids down for bed, everything, had a little bit of time to digest, let it sink in, wrap my head around it. And I realized in those moments of anxiety and panic, I wasted so much energy, like a lot of energy, on something that didn't exist in reality. Like it literally was just a freak out that happened in my head. So that energy I can't get back, right? We can't get back the time either. And I realized too, like we can plan our hearts out sometimes, and life doesn't always go as we have planned, even in our daily lives with our kids or business. Um, and it just made me realize too that I gave up power. I let limiting beliefs cloud my vision, cloud my mind, and I literally limited in those moments. And I could continue it, but I didn't. I limited my success, my happiness, my peace, and my time during like this last quarter. So, yeah, the truth is like it just was really like subtle, but I was just like, whoa. So a little bit about me. My name is Mel. I am a success and mindset strategist. I am also the marketing and sales director for Coach Viliami Tuivai. And that's kind of a new role that I've taken on. Not kind of, it is a new role that I've taken on. And with this last quarter of the year, I've kind of noticed that there's like a big push that everybody's like, jump on your New Year's resolution, get on it. But being an entrepreneur and being a mom and just being busy and the holiday season coming up, that's kind of a stressful time for everybody. So instead of jumping on your New Year's resolution, I want you to take a moment just to step back and kind of think about yourself, because everything begins and ends with you. Your success, your failures, everything. It's all you. So taking care of you first is super important. So I want to ask you guys, how often are the decisions that we make 100% for ourselves? Or do you find yourself making decisions sometimes based on what you assume someone might think or feel, how you might look to those around you, or maybe you rationalize yourself into what's the path of least resistance? And how often are we limiting ourselves in those moments, our potential, our success, to something or someone outside of us? So limitations exist outside of us. They most frequently cameo in our lives as like doubt, insecurity, right? What people think of us, our family, our friends, colleagues, heck, even perfect strangers sometimes, right? our successes or our failures, and those are perceived, right? And those, let's be really honest, are 100% subjectively up to us and us alone. Maybe the need for perfectionism. Anybody here Pinterest it? I do. Anybody here Pinterest fail it, right? We don't post the Pinterest fails too often because that's another, like, that pressure, that need for perfectionism, our insecurities. And I don't really need to explain this because I think as women or as people, we've all been there. That self-doubt, those things that go on just inside of our head, you know, those worries, fears, doubts, insecurities, and all of the what ifs, right? That's like a big rabbit hole. The journey down the rabbit hole continues, and it's kind of like having a garden, right? If you don't weed your garden, the weeds grow with the rain or whether you water it, and it's kind of like maybe banana polka or something, right? The vines come out, grab, and like get a hold of you, keep you weighted down. But all of these limitations are external, so they exist outside of us, and we internalize them. We create some kind of faux reality inside of our minds, and sometimes it goes a little bit further and into our hearts, and it kind of cements itself into our belief system. We're limitless beings, though. We have been conditioned to be limited. And some of the things that you might be familiar with that very common, right? Money is hard to get. It requires a lot of work, hard work, education, or quick success is unreasonable, doesn't happen. You need to be lucky or have money to start, or maybe that you need to have specialized skills, training, or education to be an expert in your field. And I know on the outside, on the surface level, everybody can relate to this. Everybody kind of understands. We've all self reflected, kind of delved into personal growth and development. Um, but and maybe even the kind of stuff that our friends and family consider a little bit like woo woo. But consider this, like, have you ever seen a baby who's learning to crawl or walk give up? Like, ever? Never, right? Why? That baby doesn't ever give up. Like, that baby just perseveres, continues, and persists until it gets it, right? Learning different strategies as the baby goes. But in a baby's world, fear, failure, self doubt, insecurity, none of that exists. And my point in telling you this little baby story is that we've all been babies. So you've been there. You know this feeling somewhere within you. It's an innate quality, but how? How do we get back in touch with that innate quality, that limitlessness, that fearlessness? It starts with awareness. So being aware that there are limitations that we impose on ourselves, because really, we choose to internalize the things from the outside. You know, being aware what the limitation is, listen to yourself, listen how you talk to yourself, um, and just being kind to yourself, you know, then recognizing and acknowledging that these exist outside of us and that we have a choice, right? We can choose to let it in, we can choose to let it affect us or not, and then make the decision to remove those limitations on yourself. So as we move into this holiday season, right, we're wearing multiple hats, moms, entrepreneurs, business, some of us have 9 to 5s and stuff. Ask yourself, like, are you doing things because you really want to, or do you feel obligated? And this goes for work, this goes for functions, family events, volunteering for like team things like cooking or whatever it is, right? Do you really want to do it, or do you feel obligated to? Do you find yourself making decisions that are maybe uncomfortable for yourself, but for the sake of somebody else or others, you're choosing something else that you wouldn't normally choose? Or in general, are you contemplating acceptance, recognition, um, avoiding criticism, conflict, fear, maybe anxiety? And are the decisions that you make 100% for you, from you, and of you? So when we live by the limitations that we allow, we relinquish power every single time. And on top of that, that's why we get stuck maybe sometimes in life or in business, because we are suppressing that energy that causes us to flow, that causes us to think and act in a certain way. And I know everybody kind of knows this feeling, that super confident boss feeling. We've all felt that at one point in time, like, yeah, I got this. Or, you know, business is going, you're like, that strut in your step, right? So we all know that feeling. But when we succumb to insecurity, fears, and doubts, and those negative emotions and negative thoughts, they're like in little invisible monsters, and we just breathe life into them with thought. And as we let those creep into our subconscious, we only strengthen the limitations, and we literally just cap ourselves right there, wherever that limitation is at that we set for ourselves. So if you want better in your world, if you want better in your immediate world, you have to think better of yourself. So success is whatever you determine and you decide for yourself. But in order for you to live the life of your dreams, the life that you really want to create, you have to choose to be limitless. Like, there is no other option. And we kind of just talked about the steps, right? Um, acknowledging, first of all, recognizing awareness, recognizing and acknowledging, and then removing those beliefs. But how do you get there on like a deeper level? Well, it starts with loving yourself. And we know all of that self-love stuff, right? But love yourself. Be your own best friend. You have to have that little voice inside of you. Be your own cheerleader. How would you talk to your best friend, your girlfriend, your sister, your mom, if they made a mistake? You wouldn't tell them like, oh, that's so horrible. Like, what the heck are you doing? You would be like, you got this, girl. Like, you got it. It's no big deal. You got it. You're going to kill it the next time, or whatever it is, right? Be that for yourself, because sometimes you don't have anybody else. But when you love yourself, you see the value in yourself. Like, we are all here for a purpose. There's no one in this world who is like you. We are all unique. We are all different. We all have a passion, purpose, and we have something about us that no one else has. So when you're in touch with that, your energy flows, you vibe well, you attract more beautiful things into your life. People trust you. They want to be a part of your world. So start with loving yourself. Your perception, change your perception, and you absolutely change everything. So that's, excuse me, that could be really the difference between success and failure sometimes is your perception. We have to think and look at things, and how do we view these things? Like, how every thought, situation that comes into our life, what meaning are we giving to that? Because that meaning is going to determine how it impacts us and our world. So if we change our perception, we choose to stay more apt and prone and open in mind, soul, body, and spirit to see the opportunities, the goodness, and the beauty in things and everyone around us, really. But yeah, you change the way you perceive things, the way you look at things, and then you're going to change the way you feel about it, the way you behave towards it and act, and it's going to ultimately change the outcomes of everything in your life. So also recognize the power of choice. This ties right back into the perception, but we have an opportunity and the choice to see things and react or respond to things. So take the opportunity. It's a luxury that we have that power of choice to choose how we see things, to choose how we respond to things, and choose how we grow through things. And now, I'm starting to wrap this up. Remember, the holiday season is coming. It's stressful for some of us. I'm not trying to throw that out there and manifest that into your life, but for some of us, it gets really stressful. You have kids, activities, business goals. But remember, shit happens, okay? When shit happens, it's for your greater good. Sometimes these might trigger old thought patterns and make, question your worthiness, your path, your passion, if you're doing the right thing, putting in enough effort. But realize that challenges, obstacles, adversity, these are all things that we are asking for on some level. We are asking to grow or change or be better, level up. And whether it's God, the universe, or whatever higher power you believe in, these forces have a way of putting things back into perfect balance. So if you're getting challenges in your world, or even losses of friendships or things in your world, it's because you're asking for it, and not asking for it in a bad way. You're asking for change. So, that's the way of putting things back into perfect balance. And you have to look at things and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? Do you let it consume you, or do you thrive? Do you consume it for growth? Do you let your feelings get hurt, or do you choose to rise above it? So don't give your power away in those moments. And lastly, don't give a shit. Sorry, one more SH word. Sorry, babies. But you just can't care. We are all here for a passion, a purpose, a reason. And again, we do something different on this earth that nobody else does. So when you focus on you, what other people think, their opinions, how they view you, what they say about you, all of that becomes irrelevant. What other people think is none of our business, so we shouldn't even bother to care about that. And in this last quarter of the year, especially as we get definitely close to the holiday season, challenge yourself. I really ask you guys to challenge yourself, challenge your beliefs, challenge yourself in those moments when you feel weighted down, held back, or self-doubt. Challenge yourself to go outside of what you normally do and take action in a different way. Let that little best friend, your little cheerleader inside of you remind you that you are capable, incredible, amazing, and that you are limitless. Stoke those embers, that little ember inside of you, and stoke it into a flame, and really live that limitless life. Because in the end, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people don't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine. We are all born to make manifest the glory that is within us. And it's not just within some of us, it's within all of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to let their light shine. And as we are liberated from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others. So thank you so much, ladies. I hope that did a little bit of something for you. And I'd also like to invite you, sorry, a little plug, because we do have another, if you'd like to hear a male perspective on motivation, also Polynesian, I do have a 30-minute Zoom this evening at 6:15 Hawaii Standard Time for Coach V. He is my mentor also and actually really changed the way that I speak and relate to people. So thank you so much for allowing me to share with you guys. And I'm really excited to getting to know some of you guys better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel.
Yay, Mel!
That was so good. Will you?